Hi, welcome back to Total Recapped here. Today we will be going through the events of the 2020 sci-fi thriller movie 2067, directed by Seth Larney. Now warning, this video contains spoilers, so watch at your own risk. Now let's get right into the movie. At the beginning of the film, a voice narrates, 99% of the world has collapsed because of the scarcity of oxygen. Now it is the year 2067 and global warming has destroyed the world. Reversing its effects is impossible, and mankind is waiting for death with no hope left. In contrast to the world right now, all the plants have gone extinct and all vegetation is non-existent. After the extinction of the last plant, oxygen in the air decreased exponentially. People began using expensive artificial oxygen for survival. A city in Australia is still surviving in such extreme conditions, mainly because it is the headquarters of the Chronicorp Corporation, the world's second largest synthetic oxygen manufacturer. But even the company knows that synthetic oxygen cannot prolong the extinction of humanity for long. Moreover, the use of such oxygen causes fatal disease over time, referred to as the sickness. Now, a man named Ethan White is a resident of the city. He is married to Xanthi, who suffers from the sickness. He and his brother-like mentor Jude work for Chronicorp Corporation as tunnel workers. The company is also working actively to find a way to save humanity. One day at work, Ethan is called by his boss and the CTO of the company, Regina Jackson. He and Jude walk into her office to see her looking over the city. Regina introduces herself to Ethan and Jude and reveals to them that human extinction is near. According to her, only Ethan can save the world now. Both Ethan and Jude look at her like she's crazy, and Regina insists they follow her to the lab so she can explain herself. The lab consists of a massive device being displayed in the middle. Billy Mitchell, the head researcher of the project, introduces himself to them. Billy glances at Ethan's wrist device, which makes Ethan uncomfortable. He then begins to explain the huge device. It turns out the device was Ethan's father, Dr. Richard White's idea. He started this project 20 years ago and was vastly successful, but couldn't complete it before his death. The device is actually a time machine, and it has finally been completed by Billy and his team. However, the machine requires Ethan's help to be started. A shocked Ethan listens as Billy explains that the first experiment done to check the accuracy of the machine was a radio waves test that Dr. White sent radio waves into the machine to check in what year the vegetation will reestablish itself and the Earth will be habitable. Through the experiment, they found out that 407 years later, the Earth would maintain enough oxygen in the air for humans to survive. The experiment was a success. However, the radio waves that were sent to the future were recoded when they came back. The waves read, "Send Ethan White." Scientists believe that someone is already in the future and is helping them to save humanity. They have to send Ethan to bring back the cure, but he was only a kid then. Hence, now that he is ready, Regina and the team want to send him to the future. Now, Ethan denies the offer, claiming that he is just an ordinary man. Moreover, he cannot leave his sick wife alone. After work, Jude and Ethan go to a bar where Jude tries to convince him to take the offer. He says that Ethan's father has left him with responsibility, but Ethan doesn't want to be associated with his dad. We get to know that his father had left Ethan and his mother right before her death, and Jude believes the cure is the only way to save Xanthi from the sickness. The scene cuts to a flashback of Ethan's 8th birthday. Richard had brought Ethan a weird box as a gift and asked him to put his hand inside the box. When a happy Ethan put his hands inside, a device latched onto his wrist, making him bleed. Ethan cried in pain as Richard apologized to him. The wristband is permanent and is still latched onto his wrist, and when he reaches home, Ethan tells Xanthi about his day. Xanthi doesn't want her sickness to hold Ethan back, and she persuades him to help Regina and the crew. The following morning, Ethan scribes, "I will find my way back to you on a metal flower," and leaves it beside a crying Xanthi. At the headquarters, he tells Regina that the very first dose of the cure will go to Xanthi even if there is only one of them. Dr. Billy puts him into a suit as a safety precaution, and they believe the person who sent the "Send Ethan White" message has the cure but do not know who they are and what cure they have. Hence, Ethan is on his own to figure out everything out when he reaches the future. Ethan is then handed a robotic AI device called Archie, which will keep a record of his vitals at all times. It will also help him navigate his location. Finally, they start the machine and throw Ethan into it. He moves at a high speed through time and eventually lands in an unknown jungle. As he lands, his suit catches fire, so he quickly takes it off. The jungle is filled with large trees and vegetation, a total opposite of the condition back home. Archie gives him directions to a nearby bunker. Ethan discovers a human skeleton whose skull has a bullet hole in it. He inspects the remains and is horrified to see his name on the skeleton's name tag. The skeleton is Ethan from the past. He realizes that someone is going to shoot him dead soon. Ethan also discovers an old Archie. He plays the last recording from the device and hears a man yelling at Ethan, claiming that this is the only way. Then a gunshot is heard, suggesting that the man has shot Ethan. Now, before he finds out who the man is, Archie's battery fails. Ethan notices the skeleton's wrist device is identical to his, except the light is green on the skeleton's device, but Ethan's has always been red. He then charges the old Archie with the help of some wires from his destroyed suit, and that night he uses sticks to light a fire and eats wild berries. But the berries make him sick. He is about to fall unconscious when he sees a person approaching him. Later, he wakes up to Jude taking care of him, and the lab noticed that Ethan's vitals dropping and assumed something had happened. Hence, Jude was sent with the medicines to save him. Ethan then brings Jude to show him a skeleton, but they conclude that Jude had saved Ethan's life, so the future of Ethan's death has been changed. Then they use Archie to find a door to a bunker. Ethan's eyes are scanned by a device that grants them access inside the bunker, and a monitor asks Ethan for his DNA sample to gain access to the computers. Suddenly, his wrist device starts to work, making him bleed, and the red light turns green. The lights turn on and they see that they are at a lab with a time machine in the future. But the person that is supposed to give them the cure is nowhere to be seen. Ethan then turns the computer on and sees a hologram of his father explaining the machine. Jude turns the hologram off, claiming that it will hurt Ethan. Now, before they can investigate further, a red light glows, indicating a system failure. After 407 years, the power to fuel the system has run out, threatening a nuclear explosion. The two now have a few hours to find a way to bring back the power. Ethan then begins to panic since he knows he is going to die. He starts doubting Jude's intentions, asking him why the lab sent him there when they could have sent a medic or a soldier. Jude claims he was the only one willing to put his life in danger. The duo then decides to go out and look for a cure. They find the remains of their old city, which has been taken over by nature now. Remains of human beings lie everywhere. Ethan finally finds his wife's skeleton with the metal flower beside her. While mourning her death, he reminisces about the day that his mother died. His father didn't come home that night. They got a call from him asking them to come to a place as soon as possible. Ethan and his mother were on their way when a thug approached them. Ethan's mother begged him to let them go, but he shot her dead. All Ethan remembers is the thug helping him to breathe. When Ethan snaps out of his dream, Jude tries to calm him down, saying it is better that everyone died because no one is suffering anymore. Ethan remembers the exact words that were said by his killer in the recording he extracted from the old Archie. Ethan then realizes that Jude is the one who will kill him. When confronted about this, Jude points his gun at Ethan. He brings Ethan back to the lab and two put their differences aside in order to repair the system. Ethan then locks himself inside the control lab, planning to manually pull the power station down. It can cause a huge explosion, but Ethan takes the risk and pulls the lever down anyway. Finally, the power comes back and everything goes back to normal. Ethan then tries to check the log again, but Jude doesn't let him. He knows Jude is hiding something, so he locks him inside a room. In the hologram, he sees Regina and a man enter his dad's lab. The man beside Regina turns out to be Jude himself. A surprised Ethan continues watching the log. Regina wants to run away to the future with the chosen few through the machine, but Richard wants to find a cure and save everyone. They get into an argument, and suddenly Regina shoots Richard and kills him. She then orders Jude to kill Ethan's mother and be a guardian to him so one day they can use Ethan's wristband to get access to the future. Ethan finally recognizes Jude as the thug who had killed his mother. The man Ethan thought of as his brother turned out to be the one who killed his mother. Ethan tries to destroy the time machine to stop the whole ordeal, but Jude stops him. The two get into a fight, and Ethan asks Jude to kill him. However, Jude has started loving Ethan as his own brother, and he cannot bring himself to kill Ethan, so he shoots himself. Meanwhile, Regina has gathered her chosen few in front of the machine and is ready to jump into the future. Ethan is alone in the future with the responsibility to save humanity on his shoulders. He tries to make sense of the Send Ethan White message and deduces that the message was sent by himself. Hence, he codes the message again and sends it back. Regina receives a signal saying that someone from the other end is returning. They figure that it's Ethan returning home. Regina orders the guard to kill him as soon as he arrives, but instead of Ethan, a bunch of plants come out of the machine, along with a video of Regina killing Richard. Ethan also destroys the machine from the other end so that no one can use it now. The government finds out about Regina's plan to run away and arrests her for killing Richard and Ethan's mother. The plants sent by Ethan are broadcasted live on television, which gives people hope that life is still possible. They use the plants to start vegetation and stop the Earth from dying. Now back in the future, Ethan runs out to look at the city again. He is delighted to see a futuristic, eco-friendly city in the place of remains from earlier. Ethan had managed to change the future of mankind. And that was my recap of the movie. I hope you enjoyed it. Now comment on what your favorite part was, and make sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And until next time, this has been Total Recapped.